Hello friends, this is Faith and today I'm gonna show you how to make this poncho, the granny stitch pattern. And this is it's not much of a beginner friendly pattern, but if you know how to work the front post double crochet and the normal double crochet, then you're good to go. So I have also a written pattern on our blog. You can check it out for other sizes because I have sizes from kid size to an adult extra large in the description box below. The size made in this video is a kid size. For this tutorial I'll be using a fingering weight yarn, but I'm going to double it. This is the leftover yarns through the year, so I'll be doubling it, and then you can use any medium weight yarn. I'll be using a 5mm crochet hook, pair of scissors, darning needle, and stitch marker. So you'll need 2 stitch markers. So to begin, you're going to make a slip knot, and then with your 5mm crochet hook, since I'm working a kid size, I'm going to chain 54. If you're working an adult small, you're going to chain 70, and then you're going to add 4 stitches in every size. If you're working a medium size, chain 74. If you're working a large, you can chain 78, but I'll list everything in the written pattern and I'll give it for free on my blog, so check the description box for all the details. Chain 54, and I'll meet you at the end of your chains, and I'll meet you at the end of your chains. So after chaining 54 for the kid size, adults you shall have chained 70. You're going to join it with a slip stitch to the first chain. So make sure that your chains are not twisted. And then join it with a slip stitch to chain 1. To proceed to, so from here we'll start working in the rounds. Chain 2. The chain 2 does not count as a stitch. Go ahead and double crochet in the same chain. Then double crochet in the next chain. And continue placing 1 double crochet in each chain until the end of your round. Since we had 54 chains, so you're going to have 54 double crochet stitches at the end. So proceed and I'll meet you at the end of round 1. At the end of your round, you should have 54 double crochet stitches. And when you're through, you're going to slip stitch on the first double crochet. Don't slip stitch on the chain 2. So for row 2, you're going to chain 2, and you're going to work a front post double crochet on this first stitch. Then back post double crochet on the next stitch. So insert your hook from behind your stitch and then work a double crochet. Then front post the next stitch, go behind your stitch, work a double crochet, then back post. So continue alternating between a front post double crochet and a back post double crochet until the end of your round, finishing your round with a back post double crochet. So I'll pause here and I'll meet you after working the last back post double crochet. I went ahead and finished my round, and here I've ended with a back post double crochet. Then for round 3, you're going to join our round on this first double crochet. Then from round 3 through to round 16 for the size small, you're going to repeat 1 row pattern. So on the first stitch, work a front post double crochet. So from here you're going to work front post double crochets on front post double crochet, and then the next stitch you had a back post double crochet, work a back post double crochet. Then the next one you have a front post, you're going to work a front post. So you'll notice that from this round going onwards, it's easy to spot the back post stitches and the front post stitches. So go ahead and work that pattern by working front post on front post stitches and back post on back post stitches until you reach the end of your round, and I'll meet you on round 4. I'll just show you how to go ahead and finish all your rounds for the neck ribbing. At the end of round 3, you're going to join it with a slip stitch to our first double crochet stitch. And then from round 4, you're going to repeat our round 3 pattern. So you're going to continue repeating that round 3 pattern until you have a total of 16 rounds for the kid size. And if you're working as adult small, you're going to have 18 or 20 rounds depending on how long you want the cuff, depending on how long you want the neck ribbing to be. So continue and let me meet you at the end of round 16 if you're working a kid size, or round 18 if you're working an adult small size. All other sizes, check the link in the description. So I went ahead and did my 16 rows of neck ribbing. So my 17th row, what I'm going to do, chain 4. The chain 4 will count as a double crochet and a chain 1, and then on the next stitch work a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet the next stitch, chain 1, double crochet the next stitch, and repeat these until the end of your row. So if you had 54 stitches, you should have 54 double crochet stitches and 54 chain 1 spaces. If you're working an adult size and you did 70 stitches, you should have 70 at the end of this row. Sorry, at the end of the round. Now just continue with that and I'll meet you when you're joining it to the first stitch here. So I went ahead and finished my round, and after working your last double crochet stitch, you're going to chain 1 and then attach it on the third chain here on our first chain 4. So attach it on that third chain with a slip stitch, and then slip stitch in the chain 1 space, chain 1 and cut your yarn. So from here, what you need to do is you're going to, from this first chain 1 space, you can mark that space and then take your number of spaces minus 2 and then divide by 2. So you had 54 chain 1 spaces minus 2, that would be 52, and then 52 divided by 2 would be 26. So what you're going to do, count 26 chain 1 spaces from this next space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. And then on this next chain 1 space, that we're going to put our next marker. So our increases will only be made on these spaces with markers. The rest will just work the normal granny stripes. But this poncho is a different, I'm going to use a different kind of stripes. Instead of working 3 double crochets, I'm going to place only 2 double crochets. So to show you, you're going to make a slip knot, insert your hook, yarn over, and then you're going to join it with a standing double crochet. So insert your hook in that chain 1 space, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over, pull through 2. Then go ahead and work another double crochet. So you have 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then place 2 more double crochets in the same space. So this is our first increase. So what you're going to do next is going to place 2 double crochets on each chain 1 space. You should notice that I'm not chaining 1 between the double crochet stripes. Just place 2 double crochet in each chain 1 space until you reach your next marker. So after working your 27 granny stripes, or 26 granny stripes, not 27, you're going to make another increase on this space. So 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then place 2 more double crochets in the same chain 1 space. Now at this point you can move your marker to the top chain 2 space. Then continue with your pattern, placing 2 double crochets in each chain 1 space until you reach the last space to our marker. So I'll meet you there at the last space. So I'm back where I started. After working your last set of 2 double crochets in the chain 1 space, you're going to attach it to this first stitch here. So insert your hook, then yarn over, pull through, and slip stitch in the next stitch, then slip stitch in the chain 2 space. So our round 1 is done. Round 2, we're going to repeat the same pattern as round 1, just chain 3, which is our first double crochet in the same space, chain 2, and 2 double crochet in the same space. So our first increase, and then the next increase you're going to place it here. Now move your marker, and then from this round going onwards, we're going to place our 2 double crochets in between this set of granny stripes. So in that space, it's not a chain 1 space, it's just a space. Place your 2 double crochets, and then go in the next space between 2 sets of granny stripes and work 2 double crochets, and repeat this until your next increase. So just go ahead and repeat that, placing 2 double crochets in between these granny stitches, and I'll meet you on our next increase. I've reached my second increase, so I'll go in that chain 2 space, place 2 double crochet, so 1, 2, then chain 2 and 2 double crochet in the same space. Move your marker. So the marker is optional, you can choose to use it or not to use it because the chain 2 are very distinct. Then go ahead and place 2 double crochet in between the granny stitches until you reach the end of your round. So I'll meet you when you're joining your yarn, and then I'll show you how to proceed on round 3 and the next rounds. So when you reach the end of your round, you're going to attach it with a slip stitch on the 3rd chain on this chain 3. Then slip stitch the next stitch and slip stitch the chain 2 space. So what you're going to do, you're going to repeat this round 2 pattern until you have 4 rounds of our first color. And then when you're done with the 4 rounds, I'll meet you when you're touching the new color. So after working 4 rounds of your first color, you have round 1, round 2, round 3 and round 4. You're going to join this last round with a slip stitch to the 3rd stitch on the 3rd chain on our first double crochet. Then slip stitch in the next double crochet stitch, slip stitch in the chain 2 space, chain 1 and cut your yarn. So what you're going to do, after every 4 rounds of our colors, you're going to add a contrast color. So the contrast color I'm using for this poncho is white. So grab your white color or any contrast color you've chosen, and then we're going to attach it with a standing double crochet. You can attach it with as normal. You can attach it and then chain 3, but I prefer attaching it with a standing double crochet. So yarn over your hook and then insert it in that chain 2 space, yarn over, pull through, then make 1 double crochet and then add another double crochet in the same chain 2 space, chain 2, 2 more double crochet in the chain 2 space. Then continue placing 2 double crochets in between these granny stitches until you reach the next chain 2 space. Place an increase by working 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and then you continue with your work until you reach the end of your round. So continue and I'll meet you at the end of the round. So when you reach the end of your round, you're going to slip stitch on this first double crochet stitch, our standing double crochet, then slip stitch in the next double crochet stitch, then slip stitch in the chain 2 space, chain 3, double crochet in the same space, chain 2, 2 more double crochet in the chain 2 space, and then go ahead and double crochet between these granny stitches. And repeat your pattern all around. When you reach the next chain 2 space here, you're going to work 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, then continue with your pattern and I'll meet you at the end of round 2 of our contrast color. So when you reach the end of your round, you're going to slip stitch on the 3rd chain on our first chain 3 and then slip stitch in the double crochet stitch, slip stitch in the chain 2 space, chain 1 and cut your yarn. When you're through with your round 2 of contrast color, you're going to repeat round 1 to round 6 of the pattern, changing color after every round 2 of the contrast color. So if you're working with 3 colors as me, you're going to introduce your next color, work 4 rounds and then 2 rounds of white, grab the next color, work 4 rounds, 2 rounds of white, and then when you're through with the 3 colors, you're going to go back to color 1 and work another 4 rounds, 2 rounds of white until you achieve your desired length of the poncho. So go right ahead, repeat the pattern, and I'll meet you at the last row or how to finish off your poncho. So I went ahead and finished my rounds. I did a total of 30 rounds from here, from my first color of orange up to the last color of white. I did 6 rounds and then 5 sets of the 6 rounds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you're working an adult size or a bigger size than this one, you need to add more rounds. And then when you're through, to add the tassels, what you're going to do, you can take anything you want your length of the tassels to be. So I use this tissue paper, the insert of a tissue paper, and your yarn. So I also use the color for the neck ribbing. Wrap it around. So after you've wrapped it all around your paper, you're going to go where you started your first loop. So this is where our beginning loop is. Go there and then insert your scissors and cut it out. So after cutting out, just go and pull it off and then set it aside. Grab your poncho, and then to add the tassels, you're going to go in the first chain 2 space. Depending on how thick you want the tassels to be, you can pick roughly 8 to 10 loops, or even less if you want it to be little. And then pull it in one of the chain 1 spaces, grab that space, and then fasten it off. So when you're through with the first one, you want to go in the next space between the granny stitches and make your next tassel, or add your next tassel. Go in the next one and add your next tassel. And repeat that all around your work, working a tassel on each space between the granny stitches. So go ahead and finish your work. So I ran out of yarn when I was working the tassels, and I'll have to go and buy another one. But for now, I'll just finish the video, and then you can go ahead, finish your round, weaving all the ends in the inside, and then your work will be done. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comment section below. Please like and share it. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And until next time, stay safe, God bless you, and happy crocheting.